Hanging around after last orders, still so far from home.
Hi Scorpio, and welcome to your January 2025 horoscope. We don't have a lot of transits in January, but the ones that we do have are quite significant. I'm also really happy to announce that in January, I'll be hosting a live workshop here in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. So if you live close by, I hope you will join me on January 25th. Together with Atelier Clay, we'll be hosting In Circle with pottery and astrology, where we get to build a bowl using our hands while having a discussion about the 2025 astrology. I really hope I get to meet you. You can reserve your spot by emailing the address that you see on the screen. But all of that being said, let's get into your January horoscope, Scorpio. On January 3rd, we have an opposition between Mars and Pluto in your 4th and 10th houses. Scorpio, this might be one of the hardest aspects of the month for you because it is happening in the 4th and 10th house, which are quite prominent houses. You might find that you are facing some power struggles either in your home or in your career. You might find that either of those areas is a bit frustrating during this period, and you might find that there's some stop and go actions, especially when it comes to those two areas of your life. I will say on this day, however, Venus also enters Pisces, which is your 5th house. And Venus loves being in Pisces. So see if you can rely on your hobbies, rely on this sort of inner child self-expression to help you through this difficult opposition. 3 days later, on January 6th, Mars has retrograded so far back that it's actually leaving your 10th house and the sign of Leo and entering your 9th house, or the sign of Cancer. So you might find that actually the Mars retrograde from the 6th onwards is maybe a little bit less intense for you than the first part of the Mars retrograde. And now that it's shifting into your 9th house, you might also find that your travel or your education is a bit more frustrating, that maybe some of the plans that you're making there are not going through. They're being canceled, then restarted, then canceled again. So some of that frustration might shift over from your career into any education or travel that you're doing. Couple of days later, on January 12th, we have the Nodal shift into Pisces and Virgo. This for you is your 5th and 11th houses, Scorpio, and the North nodes will be there for 1.5 years, actually, so for a very long time. You will be learning to step away from that shadow side of the 11th house, which is overly planning for the future, being overly calculating of what you're going to do and strategizing who you're going to be with so that you can get to exactly where you want to go. And focusing instead more on that positive side of the 5th house, which is making sure that you're also enjoying your time here on this earth, that you are having pleasures in your day-to-day life, that you're also enjoying hobbies, enjoying expressing yourself, and not just planning for the future for this one hypothetical day when then you can start living. So for the sake of time, that's all I'll say about this nodal shift for now. But do know that I am doing a dedicated live on this topic. It will be much more in depth and we'll go through all of the rising signs. So if you want to learn more about this nodal shift and how it will affect you, make sure you hit subscribe so that you will catch when that live comes out. The next day, on January 13th, we have a full moon in Cancer in your 9th house. You will be reaping what you sowed when it comes to your education and travel, maybe even something to do with the legal system. If you have been acting from good intentions there, if you have been putting the work being aligned in the decisions you make, those results could also be very positive, of course. Keep in mind that the moon is actually quite close, almost conjunct to that retrograde Mars in your ninth house. So there might also be a feeling to want to repress, to bottle in any frustrating feelings or any anger that comes up during this time. Do try to express it and let it go in a healthy manner, whatever that may be for you, like going for a run, for example. And during this full moon, a good thing to note is that Venus will be squaring Jupiter, which could also mean that we have a tendency to overindulge. With a sensitive Cancer full moon, with Mars asking us to bottle our feelings, we might, as a result, overindulge in whatever our vices are: food, alcohol, sleep, whatever they may be. So just be very mindful not to overindulge. Maybe even ask yourself in a week from now, if I would look back and think of what I am doing, would I look back in disgust, or would it be okay? That should help you dial in if you are overindulging. During January 16th and January 21st, we have a bit of a tough week astrologically. The Sun will be traveling over that same area where the Pluto and Mars opposition was earlier in the month. It will actually oppose Mars and it will conjunct Pluto, and therefore you will likely see the same themes come up again. Those power struggles, frustration, being uncomfortable, especially when it comes to your career and home life. Keep in mind that this is sort of like a second chance to act differently, to approach this situation differently. So if you were able to take some nuggets of wisdom from that opposition at the beginning of the month, hopefully this 5-day period, you're able to navigate it a little bit more skillfully. And while at the beginning of the month, Venus had just entered Pisces, you could rely on your hobbies to help you through the difficult time. The unfortunate news is that during the 16th to the 21st, Venus will not be in such a good position. Venus will be conjunct Saturn, and therefore you might find yourself that you want to escape to your hobbies again. You want to escape to the pleasures and the day-to-day pleasures that bring you joy, but you can't because of that conjunction with Saturn. But I do promise after this 5-day period, it does get much easier. More specifically, the new moon in Aquarius on the 29th should be a really wonderful time, as well as 2 days later on the 31st, when Uranus goes direct, we should feel a little bit more like we can be ourselves. So that new moon in Aquarius on the 29th will be happening in your 4th house, Scorpio. So you might find that you're starting something new when it comes to your family, your home, maybe even your emotional inner world. And you're starting this new chapter with Uranus just about to go direct. So you're more likely than not, you're taking a unique approach to this area of your life. You're not afraid to stand out and do things differently. You're not as concerned to do things in that area according to what society expects. And Venus has ended its conjunction with Saturn. It's in your 5th house, moving towards a beautiful conjunction with Venus and the North Node. That conjunction will happen in February, so we don't have to worry about it yet. But during this new moon, during the end of the month, you will feel more of this flowing energy in your 5th house, Scorpio, this energy of wanting to have a good time, maybe being more social, being invited to more parties, really enjoying your hobbies, flourishing in that area of your life. So, Scorpio, I know that you are not one of the zodiac signs that is afraid of a good battle, a good struggle. I believe in you. I know you got this. We do have, some challenging aspects in the month, but overall, 4 themes, 4 focus areas for you, Scorpio. Of course, we had your home and your career, and we had your hobbies, the social parts of you, the pleasurable everyday parts of you, and your long-term planning side of you as well. And of course, we talked a little bit about Mars entering your 9th house, so you might see some themes around education and around travel coming up as well in the month. So thanks for joining me, Scorpio. I hope this horoscope helps you for the month ahead. And don't forget that on January 25th, I'm hosting a workshop with Atelier Clay here in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. We get to talk about the 2025 astrology while building a bowl using our hands. So if you would like to join, check out all the details in the description box or email Atelier Clay using the email that you see on the screen. Thanks, Scorpio. I hope you enjoy the month, and I hope to see you again soon.